In April 2022, two men entered the University of Tartu Library in Estonia. They requested to examine 8 exceptionally rare books. These were no ordinary volumes. They belonged to 2 legendary 19th century authors, Russian poet and playwright Alexander Pushkin and Ukrainian-born Russian writer Nikolai Gogol. Speaking Russian, the men told the library staff that one of them was conducting research for advanced studies in the United States and needed these books for that purpose. 3 months later, the staff made a shocking discovery. 2 of the borrowed books had been replaced with perfect forgeries. Alarmed, they carefully examined the remaining 6 books. And to their astonishment, all 6 were also expertly crafted replicas, complete with the library's official seal and catalog numbers. But Tartu was not the only library targeted. Just weeks later, 10 more rare books disappeared from the University Library in Tallinn, Estonia's capital. Who are these skilled book thieves? Who is orchestrating these sophisticated thefts? And where do these priceless books end up? The full story awaits you on USMag. This is USMag. Over a span of just 18 months, a wave of thefts swept through Europe's most treasured libraries. Not ordinary crimes. These thieves were after something far rarer: Russian language and Russian classical works. From the Baltic states and Finland, all the way to Switzerland and France, the same pattern emerged. Sometimes, priceless originals were swapped with masterful forgeries. Other times, they vanished without leaving a trace. In response, Europol launched a continent-wide investigation. Its name? Operation Pushkin. Raids were carried out across multiple countries, and so far, 9 suspects, all Georgian nationals, have been arrested. The book magician. The first to be caught was 48-year-old Beka Kidzi. He was prosecuted in both Estonia and Latvia, accused of stealing from the great libraries of Tartu and Tallinn. Today, he sits in an Estonian prison, serving a sentence of 3 years and 3 months. From behind bars, Kidzi spoke to journalists. He explained that he began trading rare books in 2008, buying, restoring, and reselling them to provide for his family. He admitted he had no formal training. Everything, he claimed, was learned by hand. And then came his striking words. "I am a magician of books. The moment I touch one, I feel its worth. I know what it will bring at auction." His history stretched back years. In 2016, Kidzi was already convicted of stealing from Georgia's Tbilisi History Museum. He confessed. His sentence was suspended. A family affair, October 2023. Inside the University of Warsaw Library, surveillance cameras recorded a quiet, almost tender scene. A young man in a black baseball cap flipped through old volumes. At his side, a red-haired woman. At one point, he leaned over, kissed her cheek, and smiled. That man was Kidzi's son, Met. The woman, his wife, Anna Gogoladze. Together, they were later convicted of stealing books worth nearly $100,000. This was no ordinary library. The Warsaw collection holds volumes that survived the 1944 uprising, when the city itself was set ablaze. Professor Hieronym Gralla reflected, "We are the generation who knows. Others once risked everything to save these books for us." But within a single year, 73 rare works worth nearly $600,000 had disappeared. Some culprits remain free. Gralla did not hold back. This is the greatest cultural theft since the Second World War, as if jewels had been torn from a crown. The deception was clever. Staff saw no empty spaces. The codes remained. The shelves looked intact. But the books inside were no longer the originals. Gralla believed the thieves knew exactly what they wanted, arriving prepared with expert forgeries. Ironically, the library's reforms, designed to give readers easier access to rare works, may have left them exposed to theft. The power and weakness of a stamp. For centuries, libraries have marked their books with stamps. Every country, every institution, its own style. Rare book collector Pyotr Drozhinin explained that in Russia, seals are strong, bold, and distinct. Yet stamps are far from perfect safeguards. Some books were sold as duplicates during the Soviet era. Others dispersed when collections dissolved during perestroika. Tracing a stamp from the 19th century or earlier can be nearly impossible. Drozhinin remarked, "A seal shows where a book once was, but not how or why it disappeared." And with chemical treatments, stamps can be erased. Pages can be swapped. Forgeries can hide in plain sight, undetectable to all but the most seasoned experts. Why these books matter. From his cell in Estonia, Kidzi made a chilling observation. Half a kilo of gold, worth $60,000, is guarded by armed men. But 2 books worth the same? They sit in a library, watched only by a frail elderly woman. Sometimes with no cameras at all. It begs the question, why have Russian classics become so valuable? Between 2022 and 2024, at the height of the thefts, Dronin observed a surge in demand for rare Russian editions. Many buyers framed their purchases as patriotic acts. For them, it wasn't just commerce, it was history being brought back home. One case stood out. In Lithuania, Georgian citizen Mikhail Zemtaradze used forged papers to access the Vilnius University Library. He ordered 17 rare volumes. 12 were replaced with fakes. 5 originals never came back. The losses totaled nearly $700,000. In court, Zemtaradze confessed. The thefts, he revealed, had been commissioned from Moscow. The books were smuggled into Belarus by bus. His payment? $10,000 in cryptocurrency. The forgeries and false documents, he claimed, were provided by contacts in Moscow. And his buyer? A senior figure at a Russian auction house. Auction houses under scrutiny. At least 4 stolen Warsaw volumes later surfaced at Moscow's Litfund auction house. One was Pushkin's The Tales of Ivan Belkin, its Warsaw Library stamp still visible in photos. Another was a 4-volume set of Pushkin's poems. Those images have since been quietly removed. Litfund's director, Sergei Burmistov, defended his auctions. He insisted all sales comply with Russian law, that stamped books from active state libraries are not accepted, and that experts verify authenticity. But Burmistov admitted, after the revolution, countless books from Imperial Russian libraries slipped into private hands. And when stamped volumes appear on the market today, they may not immediately raise suspicion. Professor Gralla countered, Warsaw's historic stamps and catalog codes are themselves artifacts, unchanged for 2 centuries, inseparable from the book's identity. Operation Pushkin continues. The investigation isn't over. At least 1 suspect awaits trial in France. Authorities believe more culprits remain free, and still, dozens of Europe's most precious volumes are missing. Their fate unknown. This is not just a story of theft. It is a story of memory, of culture, of history itself, quietly disappearing, 1 book at a time. Subscribe to USMag for more insights every week.